It wasn't that long ago when you watched a video online that most people's audio, including my own, sounded like this. This is just a built-in microphone on a camera, positioned where the camera is, and not ideal, and definitely doesn't sound all that great. And fortunately, it wasn't too long before microphones like this became more popular and accessible. This is a Rode video mic. These are microphones that are designed to be placed on top of your camera. I'm holding it right now just because the camera's really far away. But if you imagine it's 2016 and I'm vlogging like this sounds significantly better, a lot more improved, and just really helped level up people's audio. And there are ways to do what I'm doing right now and run extra cables and things like that, so that way you don't have to position it to your camera. But this kind of fell in that spot where if someone wanted to fiddle with it and wanted to kind of tinker and do these sort of adjustments and use it as a boom mic or whatever, you totally could, and you could get amazing results, and you still can. But it also, since it was more accessible for people who weren't really into that part of the process, they just wanted better audio, they would get these, put it on their camera, and anytime the camera wasn't, super close to them, they still weren't getting the best sounding audio, which was then causing people to be frustrated because they spent money on a microphone and they still weren't satisfied with their audio because really of, mic placement and stuff like that. Then being able to use a super simple, super affordable wireless microphone setup is kind of ideal. And I've talked about these mic systems a lot in the past, and I've been critical about the one major flaw that runs through a lot of them, which is no user replaceable batteries. I have a whole separate video that kind of goes into that. And I do think that is a downside in a big way, because if you're using higher end audio systems, like this is a Sennheiser UHF system, I can just put either alkaline batteries in here, or it's an alkaline duo, not an alkaline trio of batteries, or I can even put a rechargeable battery in here if I can position it the right way. And well, you understand how it works. And that way I can basically use this system forever because the batteries they're not connected. I can swap these out anytime. Systems like this have built-in batteries, so that means once that battery is dead, the system doesn't work anymore, even if all the other components are fine. Obviously, that's a huge drawback. It kind of depends on the warranty and the company that you get it from, whether or not you could get that battery replaced, you could get a unit swapped out. For the most part, it's something that when the battery dies, your mic system is going to have to hopefully be recycled responsibly, but unfortunately not be something that you can use anymore. The good news though, I made a whole video about that. I do think that's an important topic worth covering, but I want to kind of flip the other side of that and look at the positive of these systems, because the other thing is my oldest one of these is over 6 years old at this point and still works completely fine. I don't know what the battery health is on it, but it runs as long as I need it to run. And I also accidentally left it outside for over 3 months once, and it still works fine. So hopefully that means you can get a decent number of years. In fact, I have a lot of these systems. The only one that I've ever had die has been a Deity system, and that's why I don't use Deity gear anymore. So everything else, even the cheapest, most bobo looking ones off Amazon or whatever, have been fine overall. And the reason I kind of just want to shine a light on these, not even necessarily specific ones, but just the idea of these super compact mic systems in general, and especially the really tiny ones where they're super lightweight, they're like essentially invisible, and they work really, really well. Sorry, I realized this used to be the smallest one, the Hollyland Lark M2, and then I got the A1 a while ago, as you might know, and it's like, I have taken medicine that is larger than this. So give me a glass of water, and no, I'm not gonna do that. But my whole point here, and I promise there is one, is I tend to lean pretty heavily, oftentimes, into audio on my channel, and it's actually not because I like audio more than video or anything. I just think that audio it's the easiest way to quickly level up the quality of your video, more so than your camera or your lens, even your lighting. As soon as you add good audio to video, it kind of changes everything. And I just want people to know that, because it does make such a huge difference. And I saw that for many, many years when I was a digital media teacher. Recording high quality audio on professional productions, movies, TV shows, broadcasts, all that kind of stuff has been, a whole career field for decades and decades, going on over a century at this point. So the idea that audio is important is nothing new. Making it accessible is very new, even less than 10 years ago. If you wanted to be an independent creator, just making videos with things that sounded good, it was really tricky. You probably were relegated to low quality gear, like super cheap lavalier microphones that you had to run with long extension cables to your camera that had a crappy preamp, so your sound still didn't sound all that good. Or you had to then invest in higher end systems that could cost upwards of $1,000+ just to get, good wireless audio. Now, you could spend several $100s on a little wireless mic setup, but you can also easily spend under $100 on one like the Lark A1 set, the baller set, as I featured in other videos, that comes with every accessory you could possibly get and the charging case, is $65. You can get really good wireless mics for under $40. I've even tested out like a mystery $6 version, which definitely was not the best sounding microphone I've ever heard, but was way better than the built-in camera's microphone, even on my super expensive Sony FX3, and especially depending on position, is pretty much better than any phone's microphone. So the fact that normal people can spend very reasonable amounts of money based on their budget, if you only have, $20 or $30, if you have several $100s, you can get a microphone system that's going to make you sound so much better. And because it's designed to be close to you, whether you're making it very obvious like I am right here, or you're connecting an external lav mic and running it in a concealed fashion or whatever, you don't necessarily need to then worry about having a treated space. That was always something too, is people would get microphones and then it would still not sound great because they'd be in a space that just was not treated very well, and so there's reflections and reverb just kind of happening everywhere. Now, because pretty much everyone's holding a decent microphone close to their face or close to the source of the sound, kind of everything sounds good. And I've just noticed this, especially watching like social media videos from people who aren't in the audio video production niche, where it's like, it doesn't matter what they're making a video about, what they're talking about, their sound sounds good. And it's just like, I love the fact that someone with no knowledge and no desire to have a lot of audio knowledge can have awesome audio. It's also the same reason. You wanna trigger some old school folks like myself not that long ago? Take a wireless lavalier system and hold it while you talk. Oh, that right there. Why are you holding the microphone that's designed to be clipped on? It's a whole debate. I don't care. I do not care if someone wants to hold the little tiny microphone. I don't care if they clip it to a goofy object. I don't care if they go to extreme lengths to then super conceal it and do it in a super professional way. I just want people to have better audio. And when it comes to like human-made, independent created stuff, a lot of times we don't need to hide the microphones. It's not a narrative film where this would break the illusion. If I were in a dramatic role, if this were Schindler's List, and I showed up with this bright blue microphone for a lot of reasons, that would really stand out as being distracting and breaking the immersion in the story. But that's not what this is right now. I'm a person in a room just talking to a camera, which sounds insane, but is a thing that I do for a job. And it doesn't matter that I'm talking into a microphone, because you also probably know that I'm talking into a camera. Hopefully you're not talking into a camera, otherwise I don't even know how this relationship works. And I'm actually going to defend people holding tiny microphones right now. I know it's a very controversial take. I'm wearing a pretty lightweight shirt right now, and fortunately tiny lightweight microphones work great on this, especially because so many of them do just have magnets now, so you don't have to just clip them up on the collar, where then people would get rubbing, or they would get, kind of bad sound because it's almost muffled by their neck sometimes. Now I can just put it right in the middle of my chest, where typically I'm gonna get the best audio quality, but there are still some bits of clothing, especially like women's clothing, that is just so lightweight that anything you put on it is going to cause it to like sag and just sort of be kind of funky. And things that are also very impromptu too. A lot of times people are talking to strangers or friends, or it's just kind of like spur of the moment. There just isn't really the time to hand someone a microphone, explain where to put it and do all that. So just holding your little mic like an interview mic kind of works. And this microphone's not even plugged in and I'm holding it, but it's giving me something to do. As somebody who talks with my hands a lot, being able to do this kind of does focus me a little bit. And I'll do it with the one that I'm actually using. Positioning it in front of my mouth, I know, as triggering as this looks to some people, this is going to be the best quality. If it's clipped to my shirt, you're gonna get that kind of muffled sound. I might have to do a little bit of EQ. If I put it on my chest, this is usually kind of the best middle ground, where I can pin it here and it's gonna sound decent. But if I hold it right here, especially with the windscreen on, so there's no Peter Piper pitched a podcast plosives happening, this is going to sound the best. So again, it might annoy you to see someone holding a lavalier microphone, but you're getting good audio. And the fact that you can hear great sounding audio from pretty much anybody at this point, like that's table stakes in the world of content creation, audio, video production, whatever you want to call it. It's not, ooh, this person went above and beyond to get good sounding audio. It's, even if you're brand new and you're recording with your phone or something, if you have bad audio, people are going to turn away from it instantly. See, because I talk with my hands, I actually like having this pinned to me because then I can move around and I can grab things, and I like to show and tell stuff a lot. The fact that there are also different options is super cool. You can get these super simple version, right? You're on a budget, you get the one that is just, it connects to your phone, that's it, nothing to think about, you're done. Or you could go, the more advanced route where now you have internal 32-bit float recording, you have external microphones that you can connect, you have, all these different settings and fiddly stuff that you can tinker with if you want to. I think is pretty cool. And even kind of the most expensive versions of these realistically are still 60-ish% as expensive as a basic UHF system, which, UHF is going to give you, if you don't know the difference between UHF, these more traditional systems, they're going to give you better range, they're going to give you, better reliability because they're way less prone to interference. They just give you a lot more control and overall better audio quality too. But again, there are a lot of people where it's like they will spend $60 on a microphone. They will never spend $600, $700, $800 on a microphone. It doesn't matter how much better it is, how good it is. It's not in the realm of possibility. $60 is. And so while we can get kind of stuck in the weeds looking at, the different features and comparing sound quality, and this one goes to 300 meters and this one only goes to 290 meters, and this one's low-end frequencies are slightly less responsive than this one's low-end frequencies, like all of that kind of nitty-gritty nitpicky stuff, I just really want to zoom out, take a step back, see the forest for the trees, and be able to go, hey, this is super cool. The world is an insane place right now. Let's appreciate the fact that we can, have something fun, easy, and accessible that makes making stuff easy and fun.